Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to what could possibly be a championship clinching moment on the channel. I'm excited for this one. It is the Aaron's 312 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Full race coming your way here in this premiere. Yes, it is a premiere. It seems like whenever I do a premiere, you guys are like, oh, this is a premiere, or you forget that it's a premiere, and you think it's a live stream, and you try to get my attention, and I happen to not be in the chat at that point in time in the race, and so this is a premiere, but we will not have any jump cuts in this one as well, so it will honestly be treated more like a live stream than any of the other premieres we have ran so far. Do not want you guys to miss any of the action today due to the fact that we could have a championship clinched on the line here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just 4 races to go in the season, and there is a way that Kevin Harvick, our driver, the one you guys voted for me to run as in this Busch Series season, can clinch the championship. He needs to not give up 3 points to Bobby Hamilton Jr. I should say he can give up 3 points because Harvick does have the tiebreaker with the most wins this season and has already clinched the tiebreaker. So, as long as he does not lose more than 3 points to Bobby Hamilton Jr. today, he will become the champion. Bonus points will become a big factor in this race as far as laps led. So we'll try to keep track of laps led throughout the course of the day for both Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Kevin Harvick. This is going to be interesting because Bobby Hamilton Jr. is starting on the pole, and Kevin Harvick will be starting dead last in this one. No practice or qualifying entering the race. So we'll see if we can conquer the odds here. Hamilton's obviously got the best starting position in the field. It's the Xfinity Series, so I guess Busch Series at this point in time. So the races are shorter, though this one's a little bit longer, 312 miles, 202 laps. Without further ado, let's get underway. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, and we'll see if Kevin Harvick can clinch this Busch Series title in 2004. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will lead the field to the green at Atlanta, trying to keep his championship hopes alive, and we'll see if Kevin Harvick can get it done here today. Sending it off into the first turn. 3x3, it looks like, in the middle of the pack. That could be problematic for Harvick as he's going to try to get through the field. Does not want to waste any time at all if he can help it. Gonna have to watch it. Somebody got either into the wall or made some contact, and now they're checking up. They're checking up into the quad oval on the front stretch. Well after the contact was initiated off the exit of turn 4, Harvick was well on the brakes. Gonna pass a few cars into turn 1 that lost quite a bit of momentum. Harvick underneath one of his teammates, Paul Menard. Menard just got right into the side of Harvick. Things are getting crazy here in the middle of the pack already. Harvick is trying to gain a ton of time right now. Craig Miller throws a block into turn 1. I don't know if it was so much of a block or if it was just him flat out trying to pass the 119 car. Well, Harvick is moving now. Some of these cars you can see already have damage. Now we have a driver blowing up on the inside of the track, and it may be one of the favorites to win today's race. Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of the Cup Series regulars, has a problem on lap 3 rather, and has already blown an engine just a few miles into the race. Harvick all the way up high. Setting up to get the run. Off the exit of turn 2. Pass is made. Still 3x3. Harvick up to the 31st position. Johnny Sauter down on the bottom trying to gain some ground. Harvick got shot out of a cannon there. Kenseth was stuck in the middle lane with nowhere to go. Harvick a little tight on entry into turn 1 as he's underneath Johnny Sauter. The 21's definitely looking fast early on in the race, as he has been for most of the season. There's a reason why he's got the most wins this year and as big of a championship lead in the standings as he does. Underneath the 20 of Mike Bliss off the exit of turn 4. He's up to 23rd already, 5 laps into the race, and he's past 20 race cars. One of which was because of an engine failure, and obviously there was that stack up on lap 2 off turn 4. They gained a few positions as well, but got to give credit where credit's due at the end of the discussion. Sadler got blocked going into turn 3 by Tim Feedwell, who was on the outside. Now Sadler's going to look to go up the middle, 3 wide again. Backs out of it instead. That gives Harvick the run that he needs. Harvick going to go 3 wide himself now on the front stretch. Underneath the 106 car, Harvick checks out getting into turn 1. They're 3 wide right in front of him again. Big run for Feedwell on the inside lane. Scott Busch in the 56, who's trying to block Feedwell right now. Harvick running the high side. This is going to get dicey. And Harvick's just going to back out of the gas. He's going to let those guys go. He did not want to be 3 wide on the high side off the exit of turn 4. They're still 3 wide right in front of him. This is a dangerous situation for the points leader to be in. Drifting up the track, and he scrapes the wall now. And a little contact with Mike Bliss as he got the car off the wall off turn 2. Needs to find a way to get back down to the bottom of the track. Had a good run off turn 4 that time. It'll clear Bliss down to the bottom lane into turns 1 and 2. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has led the first 8 laps of the race so far. All he needs to do to at least survive one more race in the championship hunt is to beat Kevin Harvick by 3 points. Now, of course, the points per position. Inside the top 8, it's 5 points per position. They're almost crashing. The 117's into the wall. Off the front bumper, the 60 of Greg Biffle. And somehow Kevin Harvick had the wherewithal to miss it to the inside. He was on the high side off the exit of turn 4. Made contact with the car underneath him to try and force his way down there, but both him and the car underneath were able to get through. And we almost had another accident early on, but still we run caution free in the first 10 laps. A wild start to this one. Harvick still 3 seconds off the lead. Hamilton's got the clean air. Harvick had a little bit of breathing room after getting through with very minimal contact. It's the second time we've seen contact off turn 4 right in front of the 21 that he was able to evade. That was obviously a lot more dangerous with him on the outside off the exit of the corner. And somehow we didn't get a caution as they didn't stack up more than what they probably should have. Are we going to go to the high side again into turns 1 and 2? He had a major run down the front stretch. Sean Batson in the 157, not cutting Harvick any slack as he slides right back up in front of him to block off turn 2. Harvick dives it into 3. He gets underneath Batson that time. It'll drive and blow right around him in 3 and 4. A lot of the Cup Series regulars having issues. Of course, Biffle had that contact off turn 4 that stalled him up. He's outside the top 20 now. Dale Jr.'s already blown an engine. Harvick had to start at the rear, though he is making his way forward. And Matt Kenseth was kind of stuck at the back after a bad qualifying effort as well. Was outside the top 20 early on. Be interesting to see how these guys try to gravitate to the front, outside of Dale Jr., of course, who was already out of the race. Harvick gets a little tight off turn 4. Still holds clear of Blue Castleberry. Off the exit of the corner. The way things have started today, I don't see this race going caution-free. It'd be interesting to see how the pit window will roll in this race. This is our second trip to Atlanta this season. If I remember correctly, we can go about 60 laps roughly on fuel. If that is the case, it will be a 3-stop race as scheduled for the start, even with this race going 2 laps longer than the race we had here earlier in the year. Very interesting how this race is 2 laps longer. Ron Hornaday, who's been on a bit of a hot streak as of late. And there it is again. I love how every time we seem to talk about a caution, we get a caution, even in the early going. Car around hard in turns 1 and 2. Shane Kirkland in the 86 has spun on his own, backs it into the outside wall. The rear tires came up off the ground. That looked eerily similar to Joey Gase's crash last weekend. And now at lap 16, we'll see if anybody's going to come on into the pits. And they are coming down. Harvick tried to make his way on. He'll get 5 bonus points for staying out. But that is not what he wanted to do, and he may be behind on strategy early. Harvick leads to the restart, green flag back in the air, and now he's got to block Hamilton as the entire field has pitted except for Kevin Harvick at the lap 16 caution to start the race. I pressed select, and I thought I pressed it in time, but it didn't let me pit. I was waiting to see if those cars ahead of me were going to pit. I saw they were pitting, so I was going to make the late dive to pit road, and it didn't register. So now, Harvick is going to lose the lead on the restart. It looks like the Mark Martin. Martin leads that lap at the line, but luckily Harvick led some laps under the yellow, at least to get 5 bonus points along with Hamilton. Harvick's going to battle on the high side, but he's on 16-lap older tires, so it's going to be difficult. One caution in the early going of the race. Contact off of turn 2. Harvick and Martin still door to door. And Hamilton sticking his nose. He slides up the track. Pinches Harvick, and Harvick gets into the wall now off turn 4. And Hamilton rubs right around him as well, and Hamilton's back to second. It's not good for Harvick here early on. Not taking those tires. We get another quick yellow. He's definitely going to have to pit. What is that going to do for the fuel strategy as well? I mean, you would think Harvick won't have to pit an extra time, but we'll see if this even stays green to the end. Harvick back to the inside of Hamilton. Now he kind of used him up the racetrack off turn 4, clears him into 1. Harvick trying to go after the 9 of Mark Martin as he looks low off turn 2. Martin trying to pinch him down and side draft him now on the back straightaway. Harvick way down on the apron of the racetrack, trying to get away. He's going to slide up the track now off the apron as he entered in too deep. Up the hill he goes. Still holds clear of Mark Martin off turn 4. Another lead change. Harvick leads his first green flag lap of the race at lap 23. Trying to protect the bottom, but he just doesn't have the grip to really hold it there consistently. Martin got a run again. Harvick trying to side draft the 9. 9 of Martin trying to get him back, it looks like, in turns 1 and 2. A great battle for the lead here. Two are racing pretty clean with one another right now. Hamilton would love to lead more laps. If he can get the most laps led, that would be highly beneficial for him. Especially now that Harvick does have 5 bonus points. Only benefit to Harvick not pitting there. He's getting the track position. Now he's ahead of Carnage this time. Looks like somebody else has blown an engine off turn 2 towards the back of the pack. A little loose off turn 4. He didn't lift any extra, stays in the gas, and he is still working on Mark Martin. Incredible. He's held the high side for about 3 consecutive laps now, but him and Martin are still side by side. Off turn 2, Harvick a half a car length ahead on the top, but Martin side drafted him, getting into the corner just enough of being underneath him that he gets the pole. 27 of Johnny Sauter was the car up in smoke that time off turn 4. Ooh, they touch. Martin's still not going to clear. This is just an incredible battle right now between two of the best in the Cup Series. And it's down in the Busch Series, where their equipment is fairly equal. You'd have to assume you got a Roush car in the 9 and a RCR Chevrolet in the 21. Harvick going to go up the track in turns 1 and 2, and he has to get out of the gas. He held the high side for about 5 laps in a row. And moving way up the track is not only going to allow Martin to hold on to the lead, but it's going to allow Bobby Hamilton Jr. to get to second. And now Hamilton's trying to go underneath Mark Martin for the lead into 3 and 4. Martin shuts the door. Center of the corner. Atlanta in the early to mid 2000s was prime Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it's on full display here in the first 28 laps of this NASCAR Busch Series race. Hamilton going to get to the lead in turns 1 and 2. Harvick follows him to second, and now Harvick gets to the inside of Hamilton himself. Try not to allow the 25 to lead any extra laps if he can help it. Slides up the track now. Martin's going to follow Harvick. Hamilton almost gets into the wall off turn 4. Martin cleared for second place. Hamilton going to try to cross him over. And he's back to the inside of Mark Martin again. Hamilton beats Harvick to the inside. That's definitely the advantage on the fresher tires. Not only being able to kind of grip the bottom lane, you are able to grip the bottom lane a little bit easier. It just makes it harder, though, for Harvick. Really trying to pinch Hamilton down there. Hamilton not clear off turn 4, though. Harvick up the track a little bit more in 1 and 2. That might be the opening for Hamilton to clear. And it is off turn 2. Hamilton did lead that last lap at the line, by the way, as well. Not sure who's in 4th, but he's been keeping up with the top 3 so far. Harvick back to the inside again. He actually got it to cut really well that time. And he clears Hamilton easily off the exit of turn 4. Quickly shuts the door. Lap 32 already, despite the early yellow at lap 16. Might be Kyle Busch in 4th. I'm not entirely sure. Whoever it is, they're inside Martin for 3rd off turn 2. Harvick all the way down low, down the back straightaway and into 3, trying to back the corner up. Not enough, though. Pushes way up the track. Did a great job keeping it off the wall. Just centimeters away from it. Hamilton and Harvick. What a battle. Harvick side drafts Hamilton aggressively off turn 2. Look at the pole he got. But Hamilton's trying to get him back into 3. Hamilton clips the apron. That's not going to allow him to clear Harvick off 4, that's for sure. It is going to be a fun points battle today on who will clinch the championship. 468 is that magic number. Hamilton did a great job pulling up clear. That took the momentum off the high side away from Harvick that time. So he tried to cross him over, but he just couldn't quite do it. Killed the speed of the 21 when the 25 pulled up in front of him. He's going to get underneath him at the line, but Hamilton leads a lap. Really squeezed Harvick there. Actually kind of hurt Hamilton and allowed Harvick to side draft him without Harvick actually moving his lane. Harvick has saved a little bit of fuel with the caution. So he'll be at halfway at lap 35. So he's going to pit probably between lap 68 and lap 70. You'd have to imagine somewhere, or at least lap 65 to lap 70. Everybody pits though during the next caution. That'd be beneficial. Kevin Harvick. The bright side too, he saves a set of tires. We do have 4 sets as our maximum amount that we're allowed to use in these Busch Series and Truck Series races. NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, so that could be more beneficial. Hamilton just can't clear up. Harvick has just been really good on the high side. I mean, he can hold it up here for about 5+ laps, it seems like, whenever he does get to the high side. Door bang into turn 1, but there's a lot of downforce in this 21 car that he's able to get it to stick up here. This is probably the easiest mile and a half to drive on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 05, and the track's wide enough that one of the wider mile and a halves as well between this and Texas, and I'd say this is probably more wider than Texas, if I had to guess. Hamilton clear up even though he wasn't clear, and Harvick got into the back of him. Harvick going to try the high side again. Hamilton holding the bottom. It's going to give Harvick a run off 4. Now he's going to look low. It's underneath the 25. That was a good setup move by Harvick. Pins the bottom, though he kind of clipped the apron, so he'll slide up the track, but the 25 was already up high. Now he's going to try to get the run down the backstretch into turn 3, but it's not enough. Still not 100% on if that's Kyle Busch in 3rd. Busch comes into the race 3rd in the point standings. He still mathematically got a shot too, but he's going to have to beat Harvick by a lot more points if he's going to want a chance following this race today. It's pretty much just a two-horse race right now, with Kyle Busch DNFing a few times in these final 10 races of the year, as well as Ron Hornaday. They both have 2 DNFs in the last 7 races. It has really derailed their season. Believe it or not, they were actually closer than Bobby Hamilton Jr., but Bobby Hamilton Jr. hasn't DNF'd recently, so that has been the big difference maker why he was able to jump to 2nd in the point standings over the last few races. Still 3 races to go after this: Phoenix, Darlington, and Homestead. We will run those races if we clinch the championship early. And as you're watching this premiere, which is going to be on a Saturday, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, for those of you that are watching this on a Saturday afternoon, the next live stream will be later tonight, of the night of you guys watching this, which would be the next Busch Series race at Phoenix. So if we do not clinch the championship here, be sure to watch Phoenix to see if we can clinch a championship there. And hey, if we don't clinch a championship, or we do clinch a championship here today, watch the race anyway. I'm sure we'll have a good one. It'll be our first trip to Phoenix in any of the series. We did not run there in the Truck Series on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 05, so we have not been there in this game at all. It'll be a new track. Ooh, Harvick lifted just a hair. He didn't roll all the way out of the gas. Kind of ran half throttle just to let the 25 up. He knew he was going to pull clear. He didn't want to make contact with him again. Harvick trying to keep his car as clean as possible. Kyle Busch is all over him right now, and Busch wants to get in the mix. He's won a couple races this year. Just won one a couple races ago, in fact. Harvick to the high side now. Hamilton took his line away. Harvick cuts to the bottom of the track all of a sudden off turn 2, and he's got a run on the 25, goes up the side draft and now pulls away. Big dive into turn 3. Harvick clearing the center of the corner, but he clears up too soon. Car is really shoving up the track. Hamilton back to the bottom. He gets a crossover at the line. Harvick leads the lap by inches. Harvick took too flat of a line there. Hamilton not clear off turn 2, and they almost made contact. Tell you what, with the points increment, I mean, this was the final race of the year, which Atlanta used to hold the final race of the season as they make more contact into turn 1 between Hamilton and Harvick, and that's going to stall out the 21. The 5 going up the track. Harvick got into the wall, though. A contact on corner entry really messed his corner exit up. To run to the high side again off turn 4, and he's there. So the right front's starting to give way a little bit. I think Harvick unintentionally has ran the top more than the bottom in this race just because of being on the outside, whether it's been Bobby Hamilton Jr. he's battling with or Mark Martin right after the restart. Should probably be the same with Kyle Busch if he can get to the lead at some point as well. Martin, again, not that far back. I mean, the top four are all within a second of each other. Harvick didn't go all the way up the track. He's trying to pinch the 25 this time. Really trying to pinch him off the exit. Turn 2. He got that side draft, and he might pull clear. And that is the first time Harvick's been able to clear on the high side. Problem is he pushes up again. This car is just really tight, especially as the tires are starting to give way. Hamilton led that lap still. Well, he cleared initially. Harvick may try to short pit here very, very soon. I mean, he's already going to have to pit before these guys anyway. Kyle Busch is right on underneath the 25 car. Oh, he may take it 3 wide. He looked for it off turn 4, but Hamilton didn't slide up the track enough for Busch to make the move, but they're drafting each other enough. The draft of the Gen 4 cars, though, outside, I mean, when you're on a mile and a half and less, it doesn't really help too much. This was a bigger track. I'm sure Hamilton would have been clear that time, and heck, even Busch probably would have had a better shot to get to the lead. The track's just not quite long enough to build that straightaway speed up. It's definitely one of the faster mile and a halves, that is for certain, but not quite up there. 50 laps complete at the line. Harvick leads another lap now. Busch trying to arc the corner off a little bit more. I think Hamilton got enough of a run in the center of the corner that he should clear off the exit of turn 2, and does. Harvick didn't let him in that time. Hamilton just kind of pulled up, and now Harvick to the inside of Hamilton again. And he's all clear in the center of the corner. It seems like when he tries to make the pass and he arcs the car as low as he does, he just can't keep the car on the bottom of the track. He will lead that lap at the line, but Kyle Busch is now in position to take his first lead of the race. And he should be able to clear off turn 2. We'll see if he'll be able to lead his first lap. I've got to run to at least stay in front of the 25. Look at Busch trying to throw a block, but into turn 3, Harvick sends it into the corner. He slides into the corner. Hamilton gets back to the bottom again, and Kyle Busch will lead his first lap. 5 bonus points for Kyle Busch now. For Harvick's sake, at least it's not Hamilton as the one leading. Harvick just sends it into 1 and 2, and he clears Busch. Hamilton has cleared Kyle Busch back for second place again, and he'll try to go after the lead here very shortly, I'd have to imagine. I don't think Harvick's going to make any adjustments. He can maybe try to free it up to help it on the longer run a little bit, because it seems like he's really tight in the second half of the run. As the car just pushed up the track, and he has to get out of the gas that time. There is no way he was going to catch that race car. And Kyle Busch back to the lead at lap 55. Hamilton to second. I think Harvick's going to likely pit this time as he passes Hamilton off turn 2 for second place. Shut the door on him quickly. Looks to the bottom into turn 3. Busch with the block, but Harvick will pit anyway this time. And out the window. Harvick coming on down to pit road for 4 tires and fuel. It'll be his first pit stop of the race today. No adjustments this time around. Remember, everybody else has already pit. Harvick has not. And now needs a clean pit stop out of his crew. The 2 or 3 times he's going to have to make these stops. Well, it's going to be 3, especially with them short pitting here. Likely was going to be 3 anyway. And we'll see. Pretty good stop. 14.9 seconds. Harvick going to be a lap down. understand the inside of the track to not get ran over from behind, but if you're on that apron too long, even if you're getting up to speed on this game, it just wants to spin you right around. But the car jerked up the track in the middle of the back straightaway. And that's the weird thing about it is like you can be on the straightaway and it does that. Like in the corner, obviously, I can kind of see it even when you're just getting up to speed. Oh well. We survived there. It wasn't that bad, actually. Probably felt worse than what it actually looked. Yeah, with the fresher tires, the car's definitely got more stability, and it's just that long run, the car tends to push up the racetrack a little bit more. Didn't help he really couldn't break away from the traffic with being on those older tires as well. And no chance to. They never really had clean air. Hermie Sadler is now blowing an engine on the inside of the racetrack down the back straightaway, so he'll try to limp it to pit road. Third driver to have an engine failure already in the race. Lap 60 for the race leaders. Harvick with this fresh tire advantage. Caution was at lap 16. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of these other cars pit very soon. Harvick, at the time of him pitting, was probably going to have to pit within 10 to 15 laps anyway. So decided to short pit on this first stop. That will mean he'll have to take these other runs to the end. Casey Out was really pinching him down, trying to side draft him down the back straightaway. I don't think he realized Harvick's a lap down. Otherwise, I don't think he would have done that. Then again, it is NASCAR EA Sports video game, so he probably doesn't care if I'm 5 laps down or the leader going to race me like he's battling me for position. And like it's the last lap in doing so. It's the way the AI is programmed at times in this game. It's very inconsistent. It's like sometimes they'll let you go when you're an ally, and then like other times they'll just race the heck out of you like you're a rival. Well, I mean, they don't like intentionally make contact, but I mean, they crowd you as much to where you're likely gonna make contact unless you lift and just let them in. I don't know if that's the idea. You're just supposed to do that, but they are an ally. You would think they'd let you go, but if you're faster, you would think. Harvick's definitely got speed. Harvick's got about 35 lap freshened tires in the rest of the field right now. Went green at lap 19. Pitted at lap 55. Worst thing that could happen here is a caution, because in the Busch series, in this game in particular, for whatever reason, there's no free pass like there is in the Truck and the Cup series. This must have been like a glitch with the game when it released. No way to patch in offline PS2 game from 2004 like we have the ability to do online nowadays, so it just is what it is. It's the only danger with short pitting, even though Harvick is the first and really only car on the track that's 1 lap down. He's in 40th because 3 drivers had DNF'd with engine failures. Shane Kirkland, who had spun earlier in the race, is still running. One other thing I've noticed, I think, like NASCAR Thunder 04, I feel like we had a lot of debris cautions whenever there's a big crash. I think we've only had like 1 or 2 debris cautions in all 4 series combined. Granted, there's no cautions in the modified series in this game, but the 3 series there are cautions. The Trucks, the Cup, and the Busch series. I know we have had a debris caution before. And it was probably in the Daytona 500 if I remember correct, but I don't think either that or Talladega in the Busch series or something. Might have been the Busch Series at Dega. It was one of the super speedways. We had one or two debris cautions because there was a big accident. It might have been the Busch Series because I think I remember a couple cars flipping in that race. But whatever race it was, we had a couple debris cautions in the same race, and that was like the only time I've ever seen a debris caution on this game. I remember when I was younger that there were always debris cautions in the EA Sports games. I don't know if for whatever reason I remembered '07 maybe having more than '05 because those were the two games I played the most as a kid were '05 and '07. This is '05 and I played this more than '07, but maybe my recollection from when I was younger is a little off. Maybe we just don't wreck the car enough either. I mean, that could be some of it. I probably wrecked a lot more when I was 7, 8 years old playing compared to 22. I got a lot of experience under my belt now. I mean, you guys have seen we have a DNF in the Busch Series, and I think we've only maybe crashed like 4 or 5 times the whole year, and we survived all those crashes. And it seems like when we do crash, it's like twice or 3 times in the same race. So pretty good at keeping the car clean in this game. Really, in all 3 series. I mean, the Truck Series we went the whole season without a DNF. Busch Series we're only 4 races away from doing that. We'll see. Hamilton has still not gotten around Harvick, but they are nose to tail still. Sorry, Kyle Busch rather. Harvick is closing in behind on these 35 lap fresher tires. Quickly gets underneath Hamilton off turn 2. Hamilton not going to race Harvick aggressively right now. Harvick sends it into 3. Busch got in the way. Contact on corner entry. Harvick clear, and he's back on the lead lap. So lap 70, 71 actually for the leaders, but Harvick back on the lead lap. Now if we get a caution, we'll at least get to determine whether or not he'll want to be on the same strategy. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today for the next 4 laps. Honestly, the way the race started, those near crashes before we ended up having our first caution on lap 16 as early as it was, I'm surprised we haven't had another one or a couple more since. I know we're only at lap 72, but the way things were off to kind of a rocky start with the middle of the pack. Surprised it hasn't transpired into more. Harvick coming in off that dominating win at Old Spice Speedway. Second and final road course race of this Busch Series season. Both of them were at Old Spice Speedway this year. Really weird how we didn't run at Watkins Glen this season. I'm quite surprised. I'm pretty sure the Busch Series ran Watkins Glen in '04. Could be wrong, but this is supposed to be the actual Busch Series season with some fantasy tracks mixed in to take place of tracks like Nashville. But I can't remember for sure if they raced at Gateway at this time. I know they did in the late 2000s. I don't know if they did in the mid 2000s. But there were some tracks in this game that they couldn't get licensed. Pocono, of course. So Pocono was a standalone cup event for a while, so I don't think the Busch Series was racing there in '04 regardless. One thing we gotta keep in mind as well, yes, Harvick just pitted under green and he short pitted, but is it possible that the field can actually make it on just 2 more stops from when they pitted earlier in the race? As you see, Shane Kirkland's coming on to pit road. He was the reason we were under that first and only caution of the day so far. Go back to the normal camera. Mark Martin to the lead. It tells me that Kyle Busch and Bobby Hamilton Jr. just hit pit road. Lap 75 for them. And we'll see if they can make it on one more stop after this. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it was a little earlier. And at that point where we're nearly 60 laps into the run. Harvick likely just going to take this run as far as he can, but now Harvick's going to have about 20 lap older tires compared to the 5 and the 25. Martin's still on the track. So he's only going to lose more time to Busch and Hamilton, but depending on how much longer he stays out, maybe he catches a caution. And he's obviously got a fast car. He's led some laps already today. And he's been in the top 4 at least since the restart at lap 19. Leading laps again, of course, now. So we know Harvick will cycle to the lead when everybody pits, and now Ron Hornaday Jr. has just led his first lap of the race, earning 5 bonus points. He can still battle for second in the point standings. Likely won't get there, and likely won't get to the lead either, but mathematically he also has a shot still coming into the day, but he is the longest shot of the 4 that still mathematically have a chance to win the championship. Basically needs Harvick to have really bad finishes in these final 4 races if he's going to want a shot. I mean, even Hamilton, to a certain extent, is as well. Seeing Harvick with this speed early on, although Hamilton may survive Atlanta, every race he survives, it's just going to be more and more he's going to have to beat Harvick to still be in contention. I believe you see Hamilton closing in the rear view on Kevin Harvick. Well, at least I can see it. I don't know if you guys can see with these graphics from 2004, but sure it's Hamilton. Whoever it is, they are probably closing 20 lap fresher tires. Guys like Martin and Ron Hornaday Jr., they're going to have a 25 lap fresher tires than Harvick. That's almost a half a run. Figure we can go about 60 laps on fuel without a caution. We're at lap 55, probably looking to not pit again until lap 115 roughly. And it is still a 2-stopper to the end for Harvick. At some point he was going to have to make 3 stops. He has made 2. I don't think everybody else can make it on 1, but we'll see. 120. I mean, these drivers that are taking it, like Mark Martin and Ron Hornaday Jr., the fact that they were able to take it to lap 80 and 81 before pitting, I mean, if they could just save 1 lap of fuel, really the entire rest of the race, they got 2 full runs to save 1 lap to 2 laps of fuel, they can make it. Kyle Busch and Bobby Hamilton Jr. that pitted about 5 and 6 laps before them, I don't really think that they can make it. They're going to have to save 5 to 6 laps. But if you're Mark Martin, you're a Cup Series regular, you're only running part-time, why not try? You're here to win. That is all you're here for. Especially a veteran like Mark Martin who's been in the Cup Series a while. And he's not really looking for more experience. He is strictly looking to win and just have fun in these Busch Series races. Remember, at this point in time, Kyle Busch is only 18 years old, so Mark Martin is the all-time wins leader in the Xfinity Series. So he's looking to add on to that total running these races. It just passed Blue Castleberry now. And you can see pitting early really helped Harvick. He's got about 11.7 seconds ahead of second place. But you're slowly just going to see that gap start to narrow before Harvick ends up pitting eventually. Definitely going to take this run as far as he can. He does not want a short pit anytime soon. I don't know if Castleberry is going to continue to ride on Harvick's back bumper or not. Harvick may just let him go. There's really nobody behind Castleberry immediately, at least. Pretty big gap back to the next couple cars. Harvick doesn't want to get into any issues here. Castleberry wants his lap back. Castleberry in the top 10 in points. Looking to hopefully stay there by the end of the season. That'd be pretty good for a generated driver. I know it's a Busch series, and there's a lot more generated drivers here than what there is in the Cup. I think all the generated drivers in the Cup series only run part-time anyway. I don't think any of them run full-time like they do in the Busch and the Truck series. Still a good, solid run, though. One thing that this is also helping is when Kevin Harvick pit. Got my career mode mixed up there for a second, but when Kevin Harvick pit, it was Kyle Busch who was leading laps, not Bobby Hamilton Jr. And now that Harvick's leading laps again, if he can clinch the most laps led in this race, then Hamilton's going to have to beat him by 2 positions if he's going to want a shot to remain in the hunt for the championship. Unless he wins, a win is 10 more points than second place. That's the only, major gap between positions. So let's say theoretically that Bobby Hamilton Jr. wins this race, but Harvick leads the most laps. Hamilton's already led laps, so he's already got 5 bonus points at least. That would mean he would only outscore us by 5 points, which would mean Hamilton could win this race, but not be in the hunt for the championship still if Harvick finishes second and if Harvick leads the most laps. That would be the only way Hamilton would win, but still not go to the next race with a shot at the title. Which again would be Phoenix. And it's actually Wally Renshaw in the 106, by the way, not Blue Castleberry. It looked like Castleberry's front bumper, but I guess it's the 106. Got around Harvick. Harvick passed him right back. That's not what Harvick wants. He's kind of hoping that the 106 was just going to kind of pull away if he was going to pass. I'm thinking Hamilton and Busch are dealing with lap traffic because Harvick has extended the lead to about 12 seconds all of a sudden. Which means he's gained about 0.3 of a second. He's pulled away 0.3 of a second since they came out of the pits. Better for Harvick, I guess. He'll take it. Can you imagine one of those classic Atlanta finishes, though, if at the end of the race for the championship? That would be incredible. We could seal it with an Atlanta-style photo finish. They had a few of those in the track's history at this time period, both before and after, and during. Harvick's definitely battling Renshaw a lot more than what he wants to right now. He keeps peeking to the inside. Harvick threw a block down the back straightaway there. Renshaw almost got into the wall off turn 4. Maybe pushing a little too hard at this point in the run now. Get me skill points as well. I need to get these skill points because to unlock the fantasy tracks and like paint schemes and all that, you need chase plates. You need to purchase chase plates, and you do that with the skill points you earn during these races and challenges. And I've been, trying to complete the challenges as well. The problem is there's so many different fantasy tracks, and I don't know, like they're all hidden, so I can't just like pick which one. I have to kind of guess which ones are the Cup Series races. It really doesn't matter. I'm gonna have to unlock them all anyway for all 4 series, really, if I'm gonna run the custom schedule seasons. So I need to unlock all that stuff before I run the custom schedule seasons. And right now, I haven't unlocked it all. Part of why I am doing a career mode on the side. It's probably going to anyway, but I need to do it so I can unlock this stuff. I don't even know if I have the All-Star race unlocked right now, to be quite honest. And as of recording this, so Richmond race will probably be recorded as well on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 for the Cup Series. But the All-Star race is after that Richmond race, and I haven't even checked to see if I have it unlocked or if I need to unlock it. I'm hoping it's unlocked already. I know the Busch shootout was unlocked right when I got the game. It wasn't a chase plate like it was in Thunder 04. I'm hoping the All-Star race is the same thing. I'm hoping. Otherwise, we're going to have a big gap between that Richmond race and the All-Star race. Probably kind of like we had in between race 3 and 4 on the season for the Cup Series, where we had like 2 months in between just because we were trying to catch up with the NASCAR Heat 5 stuff because we didn't win the championship in the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series in our first season. Should have known I probably wasn't going to do that, and we were kind of falling behind there for a second. But hopefully there's not another big gap, especially with NASCAR Heat 5 almost being done with. I literally only have like a week and a half more content with that, and that's it. That's all I have left, so I'm trying to space it out a little more before NASCAR 21 Edition comes out. That's 1.2 second lead. Finally, Harvick's pulling away from Renshaw. I think he used his tires up enough to where start even out. Plus, he just doesn't quite have the speed Harvick does. Of course, kind of would have expected that. One lap away from lap 100 already in this race as Kevin Harvick continues to lead. He has led the most laps up to this point, barely. And it's because of the laps he has led in this alternating pit strategy. With some laps under that caution by staying out earlier in the race as well. Those 3 laps will help. All the laps that he can lead are going to help. We'll have 100 to go and 2 more laps. 3 more, I guess, technically. Oh, this is a weird race length. 2:02 instead of 200. It's a 312-mile race. The Aaron's 312. Getting through that first set of green flag stops today has spaced the field out enough where it's probably more likely that we could actually stay green to the end now. There we go, we're halfway home. Now the next lap will only have 100 laps to go as well. Andy Brown in the 83 will be the next lap car ahead of Kevin Harvick. Harvick never made any adjustments when he was on pit road. But he has pulled ahead 1.1 seconds. Not since he came out of the pits, but since everybody else who pitted 20 to 25 laps after him came out of the pits. That's what's really impressive. And for the most part, he has had a lot of clean air, though. That always helps. Really tight up the track, and he had to lift quite a bit there. Barely kept it off the wall. And cost him some time off turn 4. 99 laps to go now, but Harvick was willing to get out of the gas there. He got way out of the throttle and still almost compacted the wall. Well, we know he controls his own destiny today as far as clinching the championship. With simply just leading laps, we know he's going to get 5 bonus points. If he wins this race, he will clinch the title. There's no way Hamilton can outscore him at all, let alone by 3 points. Which, I mean, just one position would be enough, obviously, if they both have 5 bonus points, which they currently do. So if Harvick wins, he will outscore Hamilton. Therefore, even with Hamilton finishing second, Harvick will clinch the championship today. 3 races early. So, I mean, if he's strictly just looking to win the race, which obviously, you want to do, but when you're this late in the season, you're in the hunt for the championship, it's hard not to think about points. going to be the best thing for him. That will automatically guarantee and solidify his 2004 Busch Series championship. Randy Brown got way up the racetrack. I don't know if that's intentional. It might be intentional. He may be just letting Kevin Harvick go. He's running really, really wide. Harvick going to make a nice clean pass on Manny Brown. So Brown just going to let Harvick go. Brown, the first driver, one lap down. Harvick still 12.8 seconds ahead. Lost a couple tenths, but he got it right back. Because he did have a 12.9 second lead before he had to check up off turn 4, and then he lost 4/10 of a second. 3-4 laps later, and he's already got that time back. It's right back to 12.9 second lead again. If he runs this one out, he may be able to just pit with the rest of the field on his final stop of the race, though they're going to take him very close to the end. So I guess realistically, what you would probably do if you're Harvick is you split the final run in half. Knowing you do have to pit 2 more times because you've only made 1 stop. If the other drivers who have made 2 stops can, only have to pit 1 more time, which some of them may only have to pit 1 more. Again, I look at guys like Mark Martin, Ron Hurley Jr., they have a good chance. Some of the fantasy drivers stayed out a little bit longer than them, even. They're at the best chances. How far ahead will Harvick cycle on those guys? Just have to wait and find out. Brown looks to the inside of Harvick. Didn't quite get underneath him there. He's doing his best, though. And now he's going to get underneath him into turn 3, and Harvick's going to have to move up the track and give him some room. Not exactly what Harvick wants. It's just where the fresher tires come into play here, even with these lap cars. We saw the same thing with Wally Renshaw earlier. Brown slides right up the racetrack in front of him, and Harvick crosses him over off turn 2. And Harvick's got a half a car length ahead and on the bottom, and clears Manny Brown right back into turns 3 and 4 now. Both front tires in the yellow. The upper right-hand corner of the screen as you just saw it flash. About 1/8 of a tank of fuel left for Harvick. We'll have 90 laps to go this time by. Definitely not going to get anywhere close to 60 to go to be able to be within that range. Or even just a couple laps outside of it if we did get another caution. A little doubleheader Saturday action for you guys on the channel. Busch Series, NASCAR Chase for the Cup of 5. We've got this premiere and then a live stream at Phoenix coming up later tonight. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. And hit that bell notification button so you don't miss either upload or any future uploads at that. This will be right in between when the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series races, I should say, at Talladega would be on. So hopefully you enjoyed the truck race and will enjoy the Xfinity race by the time this is finished. That will either probably already have started by that time. Planning to set this premiere as close to in between the races as possible without running with any overlaps. A lot of racing you get to watch. It'll be October by that time. Depending on where you're at in the country, maybe it'll be cooler. I know it started to cool off at my house considerably. I mean, I was at Bristol where it was in the mid to upper 80s during the day. With being down south, still a little bit of humidity in September, and then coming back home and it's been like 60s, 70s. Heck, I mean, the first day I came back, I think it was only a high of 54 and rainy all day. The first full day back, not that Monday, but the Tuesday after. I think it was a high of 59 the one day, and then a high of 53 or 54 the following day. It was pretty cold. Compared to, when it drops 30 degrees and it's rainy all day, it probably feels even colder. But that's what I get for living in the Midwest, I guess. You're going to get that, especially not that far off Lake Erie, so you get the wind blowing off the lake, you can definitely feel it. So I would get that lake effect snow in the wintertime. Although, last winter was pretty bad with the snow, but the 2 or 3 winters before that wasn't bad at all. Those were probably, honestly, the least amount of snow those 2 or 3 winters that I can remember in a long time. Are we going to stay on the pits one more lap? He'll pit at lap 119. Battling Manny Brown for a while has started to let some of these other drivers eat into his lead. So Harvick will pit this time by at lap 119. When he comes off the pit lane, he'll have 83 laps to go. And he'll have one more stop yet to run. He's obviously going to lose the lead here. We'll see if he'll stay on the lead lap or not. He lost his lap and had to get it back before. Victor had a pretty good pit stop earlier on in the race as well. Oh, Brown almost ran into the back of Harvick. Great pit road entry, though, for Harvick. No adjustments, 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel coming again. 21's definitely fast when it's out in front. That was as clean of traffic as he's had all day. I don't think he made any contact with the wall or another car that run. He only even had to deal with 2 cars in general, Manny Brown and Wally Renshaw. And slower stop this time, 16.1 seconds with 14.9 on the first green flag stop. He'll be on the lead lap by the time he gets up to speed. Kyle Busch has cycled back to the lead now. It felt a lot easier coming out of the pits. And again, he kind of comes out of the pits with nobody around him. Perfect for him. He's on the lead lap, about 25 seconds off the lead when he gets up to speed. And now he's got about 35 lap fresher tires again compared to the rest of the field. So for about the next 20, 25 laps again, he will put together a good pace. And we'll see if those guys can make it to 60 to go. That is the marker. If we see anybody pit before lap 160 or before lap 163, you know they're going to be close and they're going to have to save fuel the final run. Remember, they pitted under that caution. Harvick did not. That's why he still had 3 stops. It's going to allow him to likely lead the most laps today. And if he doesn't lead the most laps, Kyle Busch will likely be the other one. If they can make it, he's going to have to make up 25 seconds here in these final just over 80 laps by the time he came out of the pits here. Which is doable, though, considering he's got 35 lap fresher tires now for the second time. And he'll be able to do that one more time yet. Well, that final time, though, he's not going to have these fresher tires for as long as what he did the first 2 runs. So this is really, between that first run on fresher tires and this one, this is really where he's going to be able to gain the most time. I have to make it worth it. Harvick trying to get the championship. He's currently in 23rd. Last pass was for position, so he actually came out of the pits in 24th. So not too many cars a lap down, especially while Busch is out in front. Harvick cycles back to the lead, I'm sure. Be more cars a lap down again. So he did have just over 12 seconds on Busch. You wonder where Bobby Hamilton Jr. is running. Likely in second place, I'd have to imagine, behind Busch still. If not, I don't think he's any worse than fourth place right now. Considering Mark Martin was Mark Martin and Harvick were the only other two cars, and they were close. So I guess with Harvick pitting already, at worst Hamilton's third as we run, which is 20 positions ahead of Harvick. Well more than just the one position he needs to beat him. It would be 2 positions he'd have to beat him by if Harvick ends up leading the most laps today. So Hamilton not leading, he's really rooting for Kyle Busch to get the most laps led at this point. If Hamilton can't get it himself. Busch only came in just over 40 points behind Hamilton for second place. With the downside, if Hamilton doesn't win the championship, then he would not be rooting for Busch to lead these laps because he'd want to fight for second. So Wally Renshaw right in front of Harvick again, just like last time. Harvick wants to get around him as quick as possible here. He gets underneath him off turn 2. Almost got into him off turn 2 as well. And he'll make the pass. Andy Brown in the 83 just up ahead now. Harvick about 20 seconds off the lead. We're really deep into one. Stays hooked on that white line with these fresh tires. And he's going to get around Brown that time and try to pull away. It's under 20 seconds off the lead. 19.8 looks like off turn 4 that time. Lap 129. Kyle Busch out in front. Both those passes were for position there for Harvick. Two more cars up ahead. Can't tell exactly who they are. Saw the 2, and I thought it was Bobby Hamilton for a second. I was like, oh boy. Talking about locking up the championship, but no, it's Mike Bliss in the 20. Not even the same font. I don't even know why I thought that. I just saw a 2 and my eyes lit up. Final time, we'll alternate through the different camera angles in this race. Harvick pulls to the inside of Bliss off turn 2. I don't know why he's so excited about being in the top half of the field there, but we were already in the top half of the field. 43 cars, 21st, that's top half. Oh, Blue Castleberry just chopped the 21 of Harvick getting into 1. They make a little bit of contact. That's the first contact at all Harvick's made in Probably over 80 laps at least. Very minimal. Definitely hurt Castleberry than compared to Harvick. Costing Harvick a little bit of time, though. I mean, that's the thing. He's running a fast pace on these fresher tires. Pace is going to slow down little by little as this run continues. And we have some drivers pitting. Shane Kirkland, first on the pit road, just like last time. Props for him even being in the top 20 after spinning and wrecking hard. Turns 1 and 2 earlier. And Kyle Busch may be pitting this time. 15 and a half seconds off the lead was Harvick. Kyle Busch pits at lap 136. Mark Martin will regain the lead. Not quite. I said 162. I meant to say 60 to go. Which would not be quite that far in the race. I don't think that is going to be enough, though, for those guys to be able to make it to the end. And Mark Martin's pit a lot sooner this time into the run. Lap 137, only a lap after. Paul Menard stays on the racetrack, and he'll lead his first lap of the race. Get hard for Menard, everybody. It's 8 seconds behind Menard. And Ron Hornaday will stay on the track as Menard pits. So Hornaday was the last of the leaders to stay out the last time. I'm very surprised Martin only went 1 lap further. Must have saved a lot of fuel to run before that. Oh, it closes on J.J. Yaley. Likely for position. I don't think Yaley's pit yet. And doesn't look like he's going to pit this time either. You know, Hornaday didn't pit. Harvick underneath Yaley. Clears him out. To the start-finish line for 5th. Blows around him with the fresher tires. Maybe Yaley's trying to save to the end to make it on one more stop. Look at this. They're 2 and 3 wide up here at the lap traffic. It's getting dicey. Harvick's about 5.5 seconds behind his teammate, Ron Hornaday. Hornaday stays out another lap. Lance Brantley pulls off the pit lane, goes high as he's trying to get up to speed. Contact off turn 4. Somebody got into the wall as well. Not too far ahead of Menard. It's going to get tight. Into turn 3, up the middle. Got a lap car coming out of the pits. We have a slower car who is, I believe, Castleberry on the outside. Luckily, the car on the bottom was still trying to get up to speed. Harvick less than 4.5 seconds behind Hornaday. Hornaday is going to start to close on him, though, in the next run. And he is not pit yet. Harvick really low off turn 2. A lot of traffic ahead of him. Aero disturbance, that's for sure. Just can't make his way underneath Menard yet. Stremme underneath Biffle. Stremme's now the leader. Hornaday came into the pits that last lap. Now the 3 wide. Off the exit of turn 2. Oh, Biffle. Menard made contact. Oh! Doug Thompson on the inside in the 121 about got pinched by Harvick, and now Stremme pits from the lead, and this will finally give Harvick the lead off turn 4. Lap 144, the 21's out in front again. And there's Hornaday, who is now a lap down. For staying out of the pits, he pitted at lap 143. I mean, that's going to be about 62 laps to the end of the race. No, actually, that is 61 laps. 61 laps for Hornaday. He may make it to the end. So he ran 60 laps that last run. He was 1 lap short before. Now he's 1 lap short again. He's going to have to save fuel in the second run. He did not that run. He was about 4 to 4.5 seconds ahead of Harvick when he pit. So he's got that much of an advantage on him. Now he's got fresher tires, so he'll try to eat into that before Harvick pits. And Harvick's committed to at least staying out until he clinches the most laps led. Once he does that, I think that's when Harvick is open to coming into the pits. But until then, he needs to stay out. He's got a 23-second lead. So he definitely didn't gain as much time as what he did the first stop. So he was a little bit faster that first run compared to the second. He did have a little bit more struggles with lap traffic, as you saw. 2 and 3 wide in front of him. They had that stack up not that far ahead. Didn't really hold him up. It just went to show how heavy the traffic was. You can definitely see how stacked together they are off turn 4. And we're closing in on the final 50 laps of the race. The most important laps of the race as we get closer to the checkered flag. This is clean air in front of the 21 from now. Cutting into that lead, though. It was 23.1 seconds. Now it's down to 22.8. Maybe they're not dealing with lap traffic like they were first time around. As far as the leaders go. Might be a little while, though, before Harvick would even clinch the most laps led on Kyle Busch. The longer it is, the longer he's going to stay out of the pits. You definitely know Harvick can't make it on fuel to the end from here. That window is open. 53 laps to go. I mean, he could end up just staying out to the end. The end of his run, that is. It's going to be a little bit longer yet. It's going to be another 25 to 30 laps from now. Again, the only way he would do that is if he does not get the word from his crew chief he has clinched the most laps led. We do know it's between Harvick and Kyle Busch. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will not lead the most laps today. So if Harvick could just lead the most laps, then he doesn't control his destiny with the win. He'd be racing for third to get the championship at that point. Or at least to finish within one position behind Hamilton, wherever Hamilton finishes. So halfway on fuel, with 51 to go, coming to 50 laps left this time by. I mean, he could stay out for another 30 laps. What I expected. I figured about 25 to 30. I guess it was more like 30 to 35. By the time we were saying that originally. 50 laps to go. We're looking at about just past 180. At max, of course. Still lost 0.4 of a second to the second place car since they have come out of the pits, which in all reality isn't that bad, considering we are about 10 laps into the run. About a tenth every 2 laps, if not, every 2 to 3 laps. Losing about a tenth of a second, it looks like. Definitely pulling for lap traffic to hold those guys up a little bit more. Would not hurt. Nick Richardson in the 112, going to give a lot of room to Harvick on the bottom. Richardson will lose a lap off turn 2. Let's try to mimic Harvick's line. Richardson pushed a little bit tight off turn 4. Harvick up the track himself through 3 and 4. He's not going to lift any extra this time. Didn't go too badly up the track that he was able to at least keep his momentum up. Probably cost him another tenth of a second, looked like, though. This is exciting, guys. This is what we waited for. The end of the race. Does Harvick have a shot at the championship? For those of you watching right now, I want to see you guys get hyped in the chat. We're just over 40 laps to go. With the season on the line for Bobby Hamilton Jr., Kyle Busch, and Ron Hornaday Jr. And Hornaday may be in the best position to win this race. It's probably going to have to gain over 4.5 seconds on him once he decides to pit. He's going to want to win this one. Even excluding the championship stuff, if Hornaday makes it on fuel, I don't think Harvick's going to win the race. Or even David Stremme, for that matter. Stremme was right in front of Harvick, though. I feel like Harvick can gain enough time to at least surpass Stremme. Well, Stremme's trying to save gas to the end of the race. Stremme actually is probably even or 1 lap to the good. I think he stayed out 2 laps longer than what Hornaday did, so it's probably 1 lap to the good. He's in the best situation to make it without having to pit again. We get a caution, though, from here to the end of the race. That changes everything. Throw all strategy out the window. I'm sure everybody's going to come into pit for tires and topping off on fuel. Figured this would be a fuel mileage race. And there it is. So Harvick has just clinched the most laps led with 41 to go. 10 bonus points, which means he has to finish second or better to win the championship. He does not have to win anymore. So if he finishes 1 spot behind Hamilton, he will win the title. Hamilton 5 bonus points. Harvick will get 10 at the end of the race. So 40 to go. Down to 22.1 seconds, so he's lost 1 full second. But now that he's clinched the most laps led, he's going to pit now. We'll have 39 laps to go when he makes his way off pit road. No adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for Kevin Harvick. This is the money stop with 39 laps left in the race. And this just about splits the final run in half. Just about, at least. Probably going to run a little over half the run to the end here, but it's pretty close to about half. Not sure exactly when we pitted last. He has clinched the most laps led. We'll see what position he'll be in. See Kyle Busch quite a ways ahead of him, and I think Harvick might have lost time to Busch this time around. Definitely going to come out next to a lot more traffic. There goes Hornaday. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. right behind Hornaday in the 2. Hamilton's lost a lot of time even to Busch. And Harvick's got fresher tires. I don't think Hamilton can make it on fuel. Oh, they're going to be 3 wide off the exit of turn 2. Hamilton's going for it. Harvick closing in on fresher tires from behind. He's going to go to the middle lane. Clears Drew Campbell on the high side. Now he's up high on Bobby Hamilton Jr. Blows right around Hamilton. Oh, got chopped off by his teammate, though, into turn 1. Hamilton fights back to the high side. Harvick will hold clear. Now he's underneath Billy Parker off turn 2. That's a pass for position. Hamilton is in 9th place. That is not going to be good enough to win the title where he is running now, especially with Harvick now in front of him. Harvick going to get another couple points for passing Ron Hornaday Jr. as well. Second or better to clinch a championship no matter what happens, which pretty much means Hamilton would have to win the race if he finishes 3rd in order for him to win the championship. Harvick's currently 6th, so Hamilton would have to finish 4th as of right now. Harvick trying to eat into that lead on Kyle Busch. 13.4 seconds back. Can Busch make it on fuel? Hornaday went about 5-6 laps longer than him. Hornaday was about a lap short, so probably looking at 6 to 7 laps short for Kyle Busch by my calculations on fuel. Expected it to be a 3-stop race for him, and it looks like it's likely going to be the case. But I mean, 2 cautions, he doesn't even have to pit, but if we get 1 caution, I'm sure he will probably pit. Harvick's got 1 set of tires left as well. He might as well pit, especially if he sees the 5 pit ahead of him. Looks like we'll head to Matt Kenseth now. Kenseth coming from the rear of the field, and at least in the back half of the field. He started the race after his poor qualifying effort, so he's rallied. He's had a pretty good season when he's ran these Busch Series races. He's got a couple wins. Turn 12, once again, Nick Richardson. Lap car giving Harvick plenty of room on the bottom. Harvick less than 12 seconds now behind Busch. Really only gained about 4 seconds on him that last run. And gained, I think the run before that, 3 to 3.5 seconds. So it was a little bit quicker, and he pitted well before as well. So he doesn't have as fresh of tires this time around compared to the last time. It's going to be tough. But, I mean, assuming Busch does have to save fuel, at some point, if he's going to commit to just trying to save gas to the end, at some point he's going to have to save. Also, remember, this race can end under yellow. That's another thing with the Busch Series that is kind of a glitch with this game. There is no green-white checker, even though you're supposed to have 1 attempt in the 2004 season. In this game, it's not accurate with the Busch Series. We had a race end under caution earlier this season when a yellow flew with either 3 or 4 to go. So even if Busch can make it there and get a lucky caution, if he's got the lead, he'll win the race. Paul Menard just up ahead. Greg Biffle as well. Menard's only about a lap short, if I remember right. 2 laps short. I think he pitted 1 lap before today. Just past Biffle for position. to try to throw a block. Doesn't want to give up the spot if he can help it. Harvick underneath him into 3. Very, very tight. Harvick clears Biffle off turn 4. Got to run on Menard. Oh, gets really loose. Oh, contact with Menard. And now Biffle gets to the inside and they're 3 wide. This is definitely costing Harvick some time. Biffle still down low. Harvick finally clear off turn 4. Biffle still underneath Menard as they're side by side for 4th. Harvick now to 3rd. And he's about a little over 9.5 seconds off the lead. With 28 laps to go. Has to finish 2nd or better to win the championship if Hamilton wins. Hamilton, last we saw, was in 9th, though. Pretty sure coming into the race that Kyle Busch had to beat us by about 8 positions, so with him leading, I guess it'd be 7 with a win, but it just does not seem like Harvick's going to finish outside the top 5 the way things are running now. We can definitely get a caution if something crazy could happen. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this isn't over yet. But it'll be exciting to see if he'll win the race or not, though. And he's closing on Kyle Busch quite considerably now. And that tells me Busch is saving a lot of gas. So he may be trying to stretch this race to the end. Has to save at least 6 laps on this final run. 6 to 7. That last lap alone, Harvick at the line was about 0.8 of a second quicker. Busch is backing way out of it. He's got maybe 1 or 2 cars ahead of him and then another bigger gap as well. The car behind him. Not sure exactly who is in 2nd place or where they're at as well. I'd probably assume it's Mark Martin. We haven't seen Martin yet now that I think about it, so Martin's likely in 2nd. He is better on fuel. Remember, Martin is a lot better on fuel than Busch. I know he only pitted 1 lap after him, but he was able to run about 5 to 6 laps more than him in the run before that. So maybe Martin's in a better spot. Well, he automatically is in a better spot than Busch by 1 lap no matter what. But Martin likely in 2nd place. He could be in the best situation. How much is he saving? How much is he behind Busch as well? Is he close to him? 23 laps left. And there's Martin. In fact, he's the next car ahead of Harvick in 2nd. Harvick's getting to Martin in a hurry. And Harvick does have fresher tires. It's going to be hard for these guys to fend. Harvick closes on Martin. He's going to drive it deep into turn 1. He clearly gets underneath the 9. Martin's not going to really give up a fight. Maybe he's just trying to save gas, and he knows he's not the leader, so he's going to let the 21 go. Now Martin's likely going to need a caution if he's going to want a shot to win the race, even if he does make it. He's not going to be able to keep the pace up into 21, especially if he's still having to save. Got about 20 lap older tires anyway. 21 to go. Lead is under 5 seconds. This is getting good. .2 is the difference at the line. Harvick 0.7 of a quicker than Busch the last lap. Busch definitely backed the pace off a lot because Harvick was only gaining initially only a couple tenths a second a lap. Harvick's been gaining over a half a second more for at least 10 to 15 laps now. Even that last lap this time, Harvick about 0.8 of a second quicker than Busch. Busch had about a 12.5-second lead on Harvick, and he is using all that time up. But at some point, he is not going to be able to save anymore once Harvick gets there. I think he's going to wait till Harvick gets there, and then he's just going to try to race his guts out. From that point on, Busch is trying to get his third win of the season. Busch picked his pace up a little bit, only 0.4 of a second quicker that last lap for Harvick. Two lap cars side by side in front of the 21. Shane Kirkland, 86 up high, 128. Donnie Hart staying up high. They're going to let Harvick go. One more lap car in between the top two now. Might be Tiny Buchanan in the 113. Can't quite tell. I believe that's who it is. Buchanan going to stay up high as Harvick hooks right underneath him. Not right on the white line that time, but he will pass him cleanly. 1.1 seconds back at the line. There are 3 lap cars in front of Busch. Not directly in front of him, so they're not holding him up yet, but they'll be holding him up here pretty soon. That could actually be an equalizer, though, for Kyle Busch. Especially if the side-by-side nearly 3 wide off turn 4. $15 to go. Lead is down to 0.2 of a second off turn 2. Terry Cook's the next lap car ahead of Kyle Busch. Harvick is right there, and now Busch can't save gas anymore. Harvick is going to get underneath him. Oh, a little bit of contact up the track they go. They got together. Oh, and now the lap cars get together off turn 4 ahead of him. Maybe it's a good thing the 5 and the 21 lost their momentum. Harvick pushed a little too hard too early to try and get around Kyle Busch. And now off turn 2, he gets another run at him. Busch trying to side draft into turn 3. Harvick's way down there. Way too flat into the corner. Busch is doing everything he can with a slower car. On older tires trying to hang on. These two will catch those lap cars. They're about 5 seconds ahead of Mark Martin. Ashton Lewis, David Green, Terry Cook. Those are the 3 lap cars. Harvick may just try to pick Busch in line behind him. That may be the idea here. Harvick looks low underneath Busch off turn 4. He had a run. Lap cars still side by side. Harvick's going to try to enter into the bottom. Kyle Busch in the middle. He's trying to hold on. Off the exit of the corner. Busch just pulled clear of the lap cars, but now there's side-by-side traffic in front of Harvick. Harvick drives it deep into 3. He's trying to get underneath Ashton Lewis. He couldn't do it. He will clear the 10. Oh, man, almost got the wall off turn 4. Was in that dirty air behind the 46. Busch still stuck up high with David Green underneath him. Terry Cook in front of him. Ashton Lewis in front of him as well. Harvick's going to clear Lewis off turn 2 on the fresher tires. And Harvick may be scooting away now. The older tires are too much for Kyle Busch. They're coming to 10 to go this time. Busch finally gets down to the bottom. In In line behind David Green. Green slides way up the racetrack. Clears Lewis, though. Maybe he's trying to get out of Busch's way now that he's clear of the 46. Kyle slides up the track. Turns 3 and 4. He's about a half a second off the lead. He will clear David Green. Green lets him go. 9 laps left. 0.6 of a second is the lead between Harvick and Kyle Busch in a championship. Could be at the forefront for Kevin Harvick here in less than 10 laps. What a 2004 Busch Series season he has had. Dominance to be able to clinch the championship 3 races early in this season-long championship format. Points format, that is. And we got some of the leaders starting to pit now. Some of these guys will likely be able to make it, but not all of them. The third green flag stops of the day for everybody else, and Busch is out of gas. Kind of figured he wasn't going to make it to the end, but especially when he had to push when Harvick got to him. About 7 laps shy on fuel was Kyle Busch. 67 laps, pretty much called that one. Guess he just, even went back and out of it, he just couldn't save anything. Halfway on fuel for Harvick. He's plenty good to the end, though. He pitted with 39 to go. Oh, got into Craig Miller off turn 4. Miller gets into the wall now. Down to 3.7 seconds. Costing Harvick a little bit of time. Mark Martin is likely the second place car. He may be able to make it. And we'll have 5 laps to go this time by. Not sure what the point is if we get a caution. And we will not have a restart. And it will end under yellow. Obviously, if we get to 2 laps out, we know for a fact the race would be over. With a caution, Harvick would have to miss the yellow if it's in front of him. Got 2 cars side by side, a few other cars side by side way further up ahead. He's likely not going to catch those guys. Probably catch the next 2 cars, and that'll be it for traffic in front of Harvick today. 4 laps to go and a 4-second lead. Harvick, I guess, accidentally played the pit strategy out pretty well. Just think, he was going to pit, and he would have been on the same strategy as some of these other guys trying to save fuel to the end if he would have pitted during the first yellow like he wanted to. But in the end, it looks like being the only car that stayed out of the pits, not having to save to the end, and being on the different tire strategy helped him get this 4-second gap now with 3 laps to go. It really is going to be the difference maker. It's still the only caution in the race, and likely will be. So we have 2.5 laps to go. If we get another one, we are not going to be able to restart, as they are coming to 2 laps to go. This championship is all but locked up now. 4.5 seconds now as he continues to widen the gap out over second place. Again, it's likely Mark Martin. Not sure where Bobby Hamilton Jr. is, but it's not 2 or more spots ahead of Harvick, especially with Harvick leading. Harvick pushed up the track quite a bit. He's digging. He wants that white flag. 1 lap to go at Atlanta. And Kevin Harvick is less than a mile and a half away from his second career NASCAR Busch Series championship. His first would have came in 2001. He eventually ended up getting 1 more later in his career, but up to this point, this would be his second in 3 seasons. Through turns 3 and 4, one final time. Checkered flag in the air. Harvick will win the race at Atlanta, and he will win the championship 3 races early. Harvick is your 2004 Busch Series champion and the winner of the Aaron's 312. A victory celebration for Harvick. Burning it down. And now we get to race for fun for the next 3 races. And your next one will be coming up later tonight at Phoenix on this NASCAR Busch Series playthrough. What a win. 4.8-second victory over Mark Martin. Martin comes in with a second place finish. He made it on fuel. Paul Menard made it. Finishing third, Ron Hornaday made it. He finishes fourth. Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 5. Billy Parker 6th. David Stremme 7th. J.J. Yeley 8th. Tim Fetal 9th. And Blue Castleberry rounds out the top 10. 97 laps led today out of 2:02 for Kevin Harvick. See how many laps Hornaday led. I know he led, getting 5 bonus points in, Hamilton, that is. And Kyle Busch led 64 laps, by the way, so 23 less than us. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. in total led 23 laps, finished 17th, so he did not make it on field to the end, as well as Kyle Busch. Looks like Biffle ran out of gas. I'm assuming the top 14 made it on fuel. Well, I guess only 12 cars finished on the lead lap. The top 12 made it on fuel that were on the lead lap, and obviously Harvick had pitted his third time much earlier or much later than everybody else due to not pitting during that first caution. Ended up being the right strategy call at the end of the day. Wasn't the intentional one, but it ended up being the right one. Look at who all DNF. Dale Earnhardt Jr., we saw him blow an engine a few laps in. Johnny Sauter, we saw him blow an engine as well. We saw Hermie Sadler blow an engine in the first half of the race. Cody Holt DNF'd, he blew an engine. Daryl Bradford DNF'd. Casey Atwood DNF'd. So we had 6 drivers that blew engines in today's race. And then Shane Kirkland brought out the only caution of the race, and he ended up finishing 37. So he definitely had damage slowing him down after bringing out that only yellow, which came out at lap 16. 33 lead changes today. 1 hour, 47 minutes total race time. So Kevin Harvick has clinched the championship on the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 playthrough. The Bashis, I'm gonna say Bashis. The Bashis the Bashis Supermarket 200 is the next race of the season. That will be coming up later tonight for you guys. That will be a live stream. This is premiere. That will be a live stream. And not sure what that's starting at as of right now. I would probably say 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m., somewhere between there. It'll be up on the channel already scheduled, and I'll probably end up having it in the chat. But as far as me talking right now, I don't know the time. It's still a few days away from me recording this. So like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Hope to see you guys for that race. Hopefully you enjoyed Talladega Truck and Xfinity races today as well. And I will see you guys later tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody.